Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2646, 2646, and Mike Matthews here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The last place on earth, and it's Mike Matthews. Did you know today, if you're listening to this on July 25th, hey, it's National Wine and Cheese Day and National Hot Fudge Sundae Day and National Merry-Go-Round Day. So if you enjoy all of that
Mike's
on a
Daily Podcast.
Mike's Daily Podcast, Merry-Go-Round, not the best place
Mike's
to enjoy wine, cheese,
Daily
and fudge sundaes.
Podcast.
But that's what.
Yeah!
Will people go out today and enjoy wine and cheese? Why is that combination so good? Cheese is one of those fat-laden delights that there are theories that the American government got us hooked on cheese. There was a huge cheese reserve, and there was too much cheese, so the government decided to get us hooked on it. A little bit of fat and salt all mixed together, and it melts and it's ooey gooey. Oops, I got a little excited there with all that discussion of cheese. But yes, and they start us off at a young age with those little packs with the crackers and cheese, and they, have us eat the mac and cheese and all that. So I'll stop talking about that. But that's what today is. It's also Hot Fudge Sundae Day today. I had a hot fudge sundae a couple of years back at Fenton's in Oakland, and I do believe I suffered a complete and utter meltdown because I'm lactose intolerant. That much ice cream, they're huge, so it's a plug and a slug. It's too much of a good thing, and then you suffer the consequences. So,
and here's today's podcast picture.
Well, not Fenton's in Piedmont. That's not the picture today. It is actually a little bit further north and west. Over there, I think it's called the Brickyard Marina. And you can see it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. It's a nice little spot that I don't know anybody that lives there, but that would be a nice place to live. It's got houses on the water, that kind of thing, which we enjoyed a lot of when we lived in Ventura. My mom and I, everybody had a boat. Our boat was tiny, it was the size of a bathtub. The late great Basil the Boxer. And he went on a boat with us once, my lovely lady friend and I, Brickyard Cove. That's not where... Basil and I went to Brickyard Cove a couple times, but that's what the picture is at MikesDailyPodcast.com, the podcast picture today. But he went with us once on Lake Chabot, on one of those boats with the paddle that you pedal like a bicycle. And he sat on the back and was like petrified the whole time. What is going on? So we only did that once with him. But some dogs are really good on boats. The point is that watch out if you're lactose intolerant, because today, with all the fudge and the ice cream and the sundaes, can be a little difficult. So retail sales rose at a slower rate in the month of June, but the pace is strong enough to keep the economy chugging along. Retail sales were, $689.5 billion in June. It rose 0.2% from the month before. And that makes the third consecutive month of retail sales growth. Is that why they're saying that in this whole inflation worry or the recession worry is over with? We shouldn't worry as much about inflation. But yes, people are buying stuff, and the sales of people buying stuff was better than March and February's negative readings. That's when we were really worried. Adjusted for inflation, retail sales volumes were flat in the previous month in May, as households exercise caution and are more selective with their spending.
Mike's out of left field recordings.
recording everything, captures actions that will never again be repeated.
Probably from hearing all. Now, it'll be interesting to see if it jumps even more with all this talk about how inflation and the recession is not going to be as bad as everyone thought and may not even materialize. Well, the recession may not materialize.
The Fascinating Material Project.
You will travel into the incredible universe.
The consumer is slowing down, but not quite recessionary levels. So that might be why we're avoiding a recession.
Ginormous.
And with all this heat, it cooled down a little bit in the Bay Area, but Arizona, I think, is on like the 25th or 27th day of their over 100 degree heat. It's hot outside. That's been a boon to air conditioning related stocks, but investors should be careful that they don't get burned. People are staying inside and blasting the AC. They gotta, or they'll get sick. It's all good news for the AC stocks, though. Heat makes people think about air conditioning and what happens if electricity goes out. But more AC usage eventually leads to fixing and upgrading AC systems. Shares of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning providers are doing really well. There's CARR, Train Technologies, TT, Lennox International. They all hit 52-week highs recently. Johnson Controls is just off its 52-week high. And they are up an average of 22% since the end of May. The HVAC business has reasonable fundamentals and a good long-term outlook. But the stocks have made big moves already. And with all this talk about the greenhouse gases and climate change, and it's going to be the hottest summer, it is the hottest summer ever and all that, it's going to make the stocks go up higher. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Anyway.
The last place on earth. So Barbie was huge, is the biggest movie of the year so far. And Oppenheimer did very, very well for a 3-hour biopic. Did exceedingly well. How about Beanie Babies? Is that going to be the next thing? Barbies, Beanie Babies. Well, Apple TV's upcoming film, The Beanie Bubble, dives into one of the biggest and most absurd speculative crazes in history. Beanie Babies. I think I remember what those were. Oh, yeah. They were like different little dolls. And where they had beans in them. Was that the deal?
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
The next Bachelor is the Golden Bachelor. The first senior edition of The Bachelor. Usually a young person, 20s and 30s, getting ready to wanting desperately to get married and meet up. It's probably different, more, the term I should use with the word up in it is something completely different because that's what they end up doing a little bit more of. But the franchise's first senior edition is going to have a 71-year-old retired restaurateur and grandfather from Indiana. And that should be interesting. I guess they're changing it up, as some of these shows do after a while. Instead of just having regular contestants, let's have celebrity contestants. Every TV show, every reality TV show, game show does that. More Americans are getting turned down when they apply for loans. The rejection rates are at the highest they've been since 2018. And there you go. That's the latest interesting news I got from Rob Black. I produce his podcast, and it's the Rob Black Show. Also calls it Rob Black and Your Money.
Mike's Matthewsman Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
The best cities for hot dog lovers are, and we'll just do the top 3, and it's pretty much instinctual. Number 3 is Los Angeles. Number 2, Chicago. because they got the Chicago dog, which I don't think you can put any ketchup on those. That's absolutely forbidden. You can put tomatoes on them, but no ketchup. And then in number 1 is New York. You got the Coney Island and all that thing. New York, New York. But the worst cities for hot dog lovers, at number 3, Lancaster, California. That's in the desert. A lot of people move there because houses are cheap. And they go, hey, everything I need is out here. Oh my gosh, it's hot. Wow, it's entirely too hot. I can deal with it. Number 2 is Santa Clarita, California. That's just about as hot. Santa Clarita is where they filmed the movie Nope.
Woo!
And they filmed a lot of big Western movies back in the 60s, the 50s. Western TV shows were filmed out in Santa Clarita. I used to work at a radio station. I've told you about K-Hay in Ventura, California. Worked there for 11 years. And we were heard very clearly in Santa Clarita, particularly in the town of Agua Dulce. And that's all out there. As is Magic Mountain, the amusement park. And number 1 in the worst city for hot dog lovers is Boise, Idaho. What is this methodology? Methodology? Okay. Lawn Love compiled this. And they said, this is why they figured it out. Let's see. The 2 most distance, hot dog. Okay. Nobody beats Nathan's in New York. Okay, that's why the number 1 for New York. And it's red hot rival Chicago. Number 2. Let's see, but why did they diss on Boise, Idaho? Because they have potatoes? And potatoes don't go with hot dogs? Well, no, they do. French fries.
A fine article.
You silly, great, fat article.
Honolulu and Anchorage, Alaska. Honolulu, Hawaii, land among the top 20 cities with the highest consumer satisfaction. Each region offers its own distant hot dog. Hawaii has a puka dog topped with tropical relish, and Alaska has its reindeer dogs. Aw, reindeers. They kill reindeers and turn them into hot dogs? No. With Coca-Cola glazed onions on top. Coca-Cola glaze. That's an interesting, with onions. So you cook the onions down, you pour some Coke in it and reduce it. Fascinating. Well, I can't get a reason here why they do not like Boise, Idaho, or Santa Clarita or Lancaster, but for some reason they are not hot dog worthy. Okay, outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, where we get all this fascinating information. It is the nexus point of where all this fascinating information mashes into each other. And look who's here. Hello, my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega. All of that was very interesting. Ooh. Do you like hot dogs? Yes. Do you like a Coca-Cola onion glaze? Yes. Do you like t-shirts? No. Aw. Well, Winky, who was my mom's friend in Florida and used to send her kooky not stupid, but goofy. Stupid's too harsh a word. There is some kind of silly stupid, I guess. But yes, Winky, when my mom passed away, started sending me these really funny emails. So
Magnification.
she sent me this one email that has a lot of like little comedy type of almost meme type stuff. But she had here this email called T-shirts for seniors. If you're happy and you know it, it's your meds. T-shirts for seniors. Another one says, to me, drink responsibly means don't spill it. Here's another one. Sorry, I'm late. I didn't want to come. That's a t-shirt. That would be interesting to wear. A little gray hair is a small price to pay for all this wisdom. Another one. When I was a kid, I wanted to be older. This crap is not what I expected. Okay, it's another one here. If everyone was thinking it, I just said it. The best thing about the good old days was that I wasn't good and I wasn't old. Some days the supply of curse words is insufficient to meet my demands. Let's see. On your mark, get set, go away. My relationship with whiskey is on the rocks. I have stopped listening, ... So why are you still talking? That applies at work, interestingly. When you have an office and a nice desk and people see chairs, I tried getting rid of the chairs in my room so nobody would come in and sit down, but somehow they made it back into my office and people come in and sit and talk and talk and talk, and I'm just listening and being nice, going, oh God, where is this going? When are they going to leave? Here's the secret of enjoying a good wine. This is a t-shirt. Number 1, open the bottle to allow it to breathe. Number 2, if it does not look like it's breathing, give it mouth to mouth. Because it's wine. Patience is a virtue. It's just not one of my virtues.
Magnification.
I am who I am. Your approval is not needed. Ooh, I like that one.
Magnification.
4 out of 3 people struggle with math. I think I get that. Let's see. Here's the last one. Retired. Under new management. See spouse for details. Thank you, Winky. Oh, that's great. Oh, wait. I deleted it. I got to undo that because I save all of her emails because they're just so... it touches my heart. It really does. She's phenomenal. I've never met her in person, but I've met her over the email, and we both knew my mom. So that's all. That's good enough for me. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, you was talking about delicious hot dogs in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. Do you know that? Yeah, Chicago. I've only been to the airport. I've never actually been to the city. That's on my list of things to do, is to check that out. And maybe a cool thing for you to do is to go visit that cool Brickyard Cove that I have a picture of at MikesDailyPodcast.com. And another thing for you to do is to give me a call and tell me about anything we covered today that you'd like to chime in about. 510-228-4640. And if you want a really long podcast, listen to the last one where I had music. You can still vote on the music in the segment called the Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud. We don't have a clear winner yet, so call in and vote on one of the 5 songs I played, which one you like best. They're all brand new songs, all by artists that don't have a lot of money yet, that need money, and they need to make it big, and they need the word of their music to get out there to the masses. And I'm helping with that in the last podcast. So check out that podcast. And you can check out all the podcasts at MikesDailyPodcast.com. And with more ways to reach me, here's Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.